They say that you are always on the way. One day the Camino calls, and you know that eventually you'll answer when the time is right. We first heard our calling for the Camino in 2017, and before 2018 was over, we were walking side by side with pilgrims from all around the world along the path of St. James towards Santiago de Compostela. We walked over 500 miles along Camino Francés, crossing the Pyrenees and then the barren Meseta, to join others hand in hand as we stepped in front of the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela, as thousands of others had done before us and will do long after us. Our first Camino experience had lived up to every expectation. It was emotionally draining, yet wonderfully euphoric, physically exhausting, yet alive with energy. It was everything we had hoped it would be, and more. Ever since we laid our poles to rest and packed our passports away, we have heard the call to return, to walk along the path towards Santiago de Compostela once more. This time, the ocean called too, and another route came to our attention, Camino Portuguese, the coastal path. Stretching along the Portuguese coast before making its way inland to join the central route, the coastal path drew us in with its promise of Atlantic sea views and cool coastal breezes. We decided to begin this Camino journey in the city of Porto, approximately 280 kilometers from our final destination of Santiago de Compostela. It was time to answer the call. We're Charlotte and Corey, and this is our Camino. We are here, our Camino adventure begins now. We are at the cathedral in Porto. We are about to embark on a 280 kilometer journey, a pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela along the Portuguese Camino coastal route. Let's go! First things first, we are trying to make sure we're taking the right path out of Porto because we are going to do the coastal route, not the central route. The central route, I think, is the main route here from Porto exiting the city. So we're following our app. We've got the Wise Pilgrim app, and it's telling us to go a slightly different direction to the main arrow. So we're just making sure we're following the right path to get to the coast. It was at this moment when we realised we had to accept this is not a repeat of our last Camino, but a different experience. The noises of the city had become a little overwhelming, and we realised we hadn't seen a single other pilgrim, a stark contrast to our first day on Camino Francés, where we began our sunrise ascent into the mountains with a crowd of other pilgrims. However, as we started to leave the streets of Porto behind us, and welcomed in the breeze of the Atlantic Ocean, along with it came other pilgrims, the unmistakable backpack and shell in the distance, letting us know that we were on the right path. Right, I think we're going to have a little lunch break before we get over further on, because it looks a little bit more industrial over there. We'll make the most of this nice kind of sea breeze, coastal view. Time for a snack. Refueled and ready to carry on. Feeling good so far. Feeling good. I always struggle with backpacks. Like the last Camino I did, I had a larger backpack. It was 38 litres and it was just way too big. This is 33. And I probably do have a little bit too much stuff, but even so, like, I just always get bad shoulders, but at the moment I'm feeling okay.
A general rule of thumb, a good guide to use is 10% of your body weight. So if you're 70 kilos, 7 kgs, that's about the weight of the backpack that you could deal with 20 to 30 kilometers a day.
The beach.
Our first beach crossing.
Ooh, very nice.
I think this is Praia de Matosinhos, which is the first town where we have to cross a bridge across a river. But first, the beach. Okay, tell me what you got.
Well, the information centre in this city, they gave us a stamp, a little like QR code to find information about the history of the Camino shell, and they gave us a little badge. I'm going to put it in my backpack.
We're up to the last 10 kilometers now, and after we come through Matosinhos, we'll come back to the beach. Down a long sort of stretch of road, we have come to a boardwalk, which a lot of people are just running along. There's a few sort of restaurants and stuff placed along the boardwalk, but it is super nice to walk on. You've got the Atlantic Ocean here, beautiful views, an oil refinery. But this is nice. It's really nice and easy walking. We've got a good pace on because it's just kind of nice and flat next to the ocean.
258 kilometers to go that way.
How's your body holding up after 20 kilometers?
I'm starting to get tired. My feet ache and my hips and my legs. The lower half of my body is saying, can we rest soon, please? But thankfully, we have just about 3.5 km to go until our albergue. We're going to rest that tonight. Oh, surely it can't be much further. Surely we're nearly there.
We've never had this before on the Camino. We get a double bed. Ooh. This one? The familiar scenes of the albergue were a comfort to us for our first night back on the Camino. Welcoming faces and understanding smiles as we stretched our legs and rubbed our sore muscles. We cooked our dinner and sat around the table with other pilgrims, with the usual end-of-day talk of where you're from, where you started, and how many kilometres did you cover. It felt good to be back on the way.
Day 2. Let's go and see what the day has in store for us. Well, we've made it back to the familiar boardwalk now along the Atlantic Ocean. We did stop off at a bakery just on the main road. They're open quite early, so you're able to grab a coffee, some bread, and we've just munched on a nice piece of warm bread with a bit of peanut butter on it. But this is lovely. We've got some beautiful morning light. I think we're supposed to have some cloud cover today, but it's a really nice start to the day.
Yeah, this boardwalk is really, really beautiful. It's just absolutely lovely. It's such a stark contrast to what we're used to on the French way Camino, just in the mountains.
Totally.
This is like there's a few holes in the boardwalk. Yeah, it's just so nice being next to the ocean, by the beach. We're away from the cities now, so it's a little bit more picturesque out here. This is such a nice way to start your morning.
We have a slight issue. I think our path is broken, but I guess we can just jump the fence?
Yeah. Looks like maybe it's been destroyed in a storm, because it looks like this is where the river flows.
Yeah.
We got a little collection of sand in our shoes from walking along that sand-covered boardwalk, so we're just emptying them. Day 2, blisters, 1. So, the first blister, is worse than I thought. I have 2 blisters. Day 2 and 2 blisters. Not gonna pop any, just gonna put a plaster on them so it doesn't hurt as much, and then just see how they go. My toe is really hurting, my blister, so just gonna have a look at it, see what's happening. I put a normal plaster on, but Corey actually remembered he got proper blister plasters, so my blister has popped, like half popped. So I've put on a proper blister plaster, which seems to have a bit more of a thick padding, so hopefully that eases it a little bit when I'm walking. It hurts, it really hurts. The legs are really hurting, the shin. I cannot wait to sit down soon for our lunch break. Whew. We're nearly at our accommodation, limping in to the albergue tonight.
It was a welcome sight to see the sign for the albergue, with our sore legs and aching backs. Unlike the previous night, this albergue was fairly modern, which is typical of the private ones. We were greeted with a friendly smile and were given the option of where to sleep, or rather, which bunk to sleep on.
Our room for the night. Which bed should we have? We have a choice. This one was €15 a night, so it's a little bit more, but you get a bit more too. We have an actual blanket, like a proper duvet, and nice pillow. And
Nice
this one
kitchen.
only opened in 2022, so yeah, it's all very nice and new and clean. And the host is really lovely.
Day 3, we are here in Gushadora, setting off for another hike. I think we're going to aim for around 20 to 24 kilometers, something like that. 20 to 26. But Charlotte has picked up some walking sticks from one of the other pilgrims, which is really sweet. It's a Canadian couple who have actually just finished off the Camino Frances, which they started in 2020, and then everything got shut down when they were sort of halfway through it. So they had to get back to Canada during all the crazy flight cancellations and lockdowns and everything. But they've just returned, finished off their Camino Frances, and they're continuing off to Porto. So they're going backwards. So they've only got a couple of days left on their Camino Portuguese coastal route. So he's donated his walking sticks to Charlotte.
Woo! I was getting some sore shins and he said this should help my posture and then hopefully my shoes won't be as sore.
So thanks, Martin. Very, very kind of you. Sticks.
Let's use these sticks.
Let's see. Beautiful morning light.
And yesterday was only the second night, but it definitely felt a bit more social in the albergue. The first one was pretty quiet, and I think, you know, we hadn't really met many people, but last night we met quite a few people, like recognised some people on the path now that we've seen since the beginning. A bit more of that Camino community vibe now, which is also a huge part of it. You know, like when we was on the Camino Frances, like the first few days were so hard getting over the Pyrenees, but because you're with this group of pilgrims, you're just talking and you get to know each other. Kind of makes it a lot easier. Depends what kind of person you are. I'm not overly social, but situations like this, I do think that Camino community really helps.
Community is what holds the Camino together. Those end-of-day exchanges, morning greetings and deep conversations you wouldn't normally have in your day-to-day life. Soon enough you'll start to recognise faces and form friendships. We didn't know at the time, but day 3 would bring us just that. Emma, her father Matthias, and Christina were pilgrims that we had seen over the past 2 days, and we'd even taken Emma and Matthias' photo outside of the Porto Cathedral on the first day. Looking back, I guess the 5 of us were always meant to become friends, and we were just waiting for the moment, and this was it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're how old?
14.
14 years old.
Yeah.
Go you. Woohoo! And you're walking with your dad, right?
Yes.
Matthias? Hi.
No, it's my first time, but it's my father's 6th.
Ah, so he's the Camino, the pilgrim expert.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think.
Nice. We've just been stopped by a lady in the street telling us to wait. Let's see what she has in store for us.
Okay, thank you.
For most of the day we walked with our new friends before reaching Marinas, where Emma and Matthias made the decision to stay for the night. Ourselves and Christina decided to continue walking, with the aim of reaching a small village a couple of hours walk ahead of us.
Look ahead, the sea is calm, and I know we've been through a lot, but just wait. Wait for better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight.
This is a massage stick that Corey got from Body Shop. I thought, oh, it was a bit odd. It's going to be weighty, but actually it's a bit of a godsend. It's really, really good. I've been using it every day after I walk, mostly on our leg muscles, and here it's amazing.
We are dreamers of the...
Well, that wasn't so bad. We got some chips, a nice salad, and a sunset view. And I got a takeaway baguette for later. Good morning, everyone. We're just getting up. We were the only people here last night. It was a bit of an odd experience, being the only pilgrims, just 3 of us here, but it was fine. And we just locked the doors and all the lights went off. It is currently 7:45, and it is a little bit darker than it was yesterday, but we are going to get started. We've got 20 kilometers today. We're going to a place called Caresso. Charlotte is just getting ready, so let's get on the road.
For us, the mornings are the most magical. We wake grateful that our aches and pains have eased overnight and we can enjoy walking in the cooler air and the soft light. We find that sometimes pilgrims walk in silence in the mornings, maybe because they're tired or the peace allows them to reflect on their journey so far. Our morning walk led us to more woodlands, where we came across our first Donativo stand, a usually unmanned donation pop-up stand for pilgrims that sells snacks and drinks. We had come across them before on our previous Camino, but it was our friend Christina's first experience of a Donativo stand, and it reminded us how wonderful they are, a small act of kindness that reminds a pilgrim that they're being thought of, and that their efforts are being recognised and supported.
We found a little pilgrim help yourself place for a donation. Snacks and goodies.
We continued onwards through a handful of small villages and decided to enter a local church to find a stamp for our pilgrim passport. It was here that we were greeted with what we like to call a Camino surprise, small moments that bring us joy.
Hi.
In this particular moment, it was reuniting with our friends Emma and Mateus, who we thought we would likely not see again, but the Camino had other plans.
We are taking the walk now into Viana do Castelo, and we have a big bridge to cross. This is a historical city, so there's some historical buildings here, churches, and they have some sort of like fortresses because it was a trading town being situated on a river. I guess it had a good harbour, a good port, and yeah, there should be some cool stuff to see. We're going to take the chance here for a lunch break. We've called ahead to the albergue. The albergue we're really keen to see because it's got such good reviews on Google and on the Wise Pilgrim app, so I'm excited to see that. We've made reservations, so let's get some good food, see if we can pick up some dinner at the supermarket. It's a very, very busy road coming down into Viana do Castelo, a little bit like most other cities. A lot of traffic. Very noisy.
Hello.
Hello. Short walk and we're back to the coast. We're going to follow an alternative route just along the sea line, the Atlantic Ocean, up to a point where we're going to cut in for a supermarket, and then we're heading to our stop for the night, which is Careço. Who's the granny at the back?
Yeah. Do I look as bad as I feel?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You look terrible.
So just checked. Well, I just checked I just checked a foot because they both hurt. So I have 5 plasters I think on one foot, but my little toe has 2 blisters. There's one underneath and one on top. So it's like pushing the front of the boot and then pushing underneath the boot. Can't really put all the weight down on the whole foot.
Just keep walking.
How long we got to go?
Hours.
No.
There was a bit of a decision to be made at the supermarket because Emma and Mateus, our German friends, they took a taxi. So we actually left our shopping with them. So we've got off lightly on this last little section and we'll meet them there for dinner.
Finally, after what seemed like a never-ending afternoon for my poor feet, we reached our pre-booked accommodation for the night and we were instantly thankful that we were able to reserve a bed at this private albergue. It was just so nice. Our beds had proper cozy bedding and the shared spaces felt like a home rather than a hostel. Looking back, this was one of the nicest places we stayed at. The host was so welcoming and you instantly felt relaxed on arrival.
We're doing okay. We're doing a big family dinner. Corey's the head chef.
The last thing we had was Charlotte's sad face after the walk, but we have arrived in this beautiful albergue. We have a sunset view. It's a beautiful, beautiful property, and we have a lot going on for dinner. I'm trying not to burn it.
We sat together around the table and enjoyed dinner, sharing stories of our life and our plans for the next day. It's moments like this that are just as special as the walk itself.
Another day, day 5, I think it is. We've just woken up. Everyone's a little bit tired today, I think. Everyone's a bit slow. Charlotte's tending to her wounds. But yeah, we've just woken up and we're in this winter garden room. It's very peaceful in here. And look who we have joining us. The horses. It's already warm, and we're gonna have a high of 21 degrees today, which is quite decent. But we just have to pay a little more attention to the map to make sure that we're taking the right turns and stuff, because we're in between 2 paths right now. The original coastal path, and then there's an alternative route which goes along the actual coast. We went slightly off path, I think. Well, look at this for a lunch spot. I'm very, very glad that we took the coastal route today, because we have just been sat here with the ocean roaring away. I went down to put my feet in the water and it is cold. It is really cold. So I think if we did go for a swim, we would definitely need to be close to our albergue with a hot shower. Fingers crossed we do get that at some point on this trip.
This is one of the nicest lunch breaks we've had. It's so scenic. Now we've stopped walking, the temperature is perfect. Too hot when you're walking, but now, delicious.
To be back by the coast was a real treat. It was why we chose this route after all. The sea breeze felt wonderful as we walked under the Portuguese sun, and as much as we loved walking through the small local villages inland, you really can't beat an ocean view.
Our first bit of actual beach walking as we come into Villa Praia de Ancora. It's nice. It was a really nice view on the boardwalk coming into the city, and we're looking forward to the luxuries of city life. Coffee, food, let's see what they have to offer. And now we're back on the boardwalk. Just a short little beach stretch if you're coming from Caresas to Praia Villa de Ancora. Not too hard.
My feet have filled with sand boots.
Sandy boots. Picked up some arnica cream and some blister plasters for Charlotte from the town here. And now we are going to go to this cafe next to the fortress in the harbour, Macera. Looks like a nice modern cafe. Let's check it out.
That was lovely. We just had a nice coastal cafe break. A little bit long break, but it's not too bad because we don't have too far to go now. We've got under 8k. We should do it in the next 2 hours, and then we should get there by mid-afternoon, and then hopefully we get a nice afternoon rest at the albergue. Hoping to do some washing, go to the supermarket.
So now we can see Spain. That is the mountain that we can see in the distance, and you may be able to make out there's a river mouth there. That is the River Minya, which divides Portugal and Spain in the north of Portugal. And here we have a decision to make. The upcoming town is called Camino, and you can either cross the river here and head up the coast of Spain towards another inlet where you then cut in towards Santiago de Compostela, or you can go up the river and join the main Portuguese Camino route and cross the river at a place called Valença towards JcE, which is supposed to be a really nice town. The only thing is, if we do choose to stay in Camino tonight, which I think we are, we will be about 29 kilometers away from JcE, which is a big day. It's a very big day for walking. I guess if we choose to do that, we'll just get up super early, leave when it's nice and cool, and maybe even look at getting a bag transfer so we could probably lighten our load a little bit. I just don't know if it's possible from Camino, Portugal, into JcE, Spain, but we'll find out. Show me a happy face.
Oh, those last few kilometers are just, they're horrible. And thinking like, why am I doing this? Why?
It's just walking.
It's just walking, but with dead feet. They're like lumps of lard on the bottom of my legs. Oh, it's so painful. And in the morning I'm like, woo, let's go. And then after lunch I'm like, meh. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it earlier. Today we left too late. Bit of a slow morning, but yeah, it means we're not really late arriving, but we've missed out on a good veggie restaurant we could have gone to, but it closed at 4.
He will come immediately, and I don't know if I understand well, but we can catch the bed.
Well, this albergue we've chosen to stay at is super nice. Such a treat when you get to the albergue and there's like food there, especially when it's just donation. So we're able to get in and have some tea and toast. Trying to think when you're so tired. But yeah, really nice albergue, really friendly host, and it's got a great garden area too, with a sort of a view over the rooftops of the river, which I'm just climbing up to see now. I'm gonna go get some food. The others are chilling at the albergue, getting some good rest, because tomorrow we have a big day. We'll see you there. Day 6 on the Camino, and we are leaving Camino. We really want to do 29 kilometers today, maybe even a little bit more depending how we're feeling. That will take us to the border of Spain and Portugal. We're going to go up the River Minya, and there's a new path up the river. It's an eco via, so it should be quite nice to follow the river all the way up, hopefully under the cover of trees. Let's check it out. We're going to try and bash out half of our distance before 10 o'clock, and then another quarter before lunch, and then the final quarter after lunch, so we will see how it goes. But we're feeling good. Had a lot of time in the albergue because yesterday was a bit short of a distance. So yes, we were able to chill, relax, do a lot of stretching, eat a lot of food. We didn't have a great sleep because of people snoring, but at least we got to rest. We have just arrived in Villanova de Cerveira. It's actually about the halfway point, so we're going to stop for some lunch. We've done nearly 13 kilometers. We're here for some good food. We're back on the red road now. We've had our lunch and we still have our bag full of snacks. So we are pushing on, and now this stretch is all the way to Valença along the river. So it should be pretty straightforward. We're going to bash out as many kilometers as we can. We've just taken another rest stop. We're doing a strategy today. Every 5 kilometers we're going to take a little 10-15 minute break. So now we're back up to 2 kilometers since the last rest. 3 kilometers till the next. We are at 2:30 and we have done nearly 23 Ks. Going pretty well. This part of the trail, there's not a lot to do. There's not a lot of things to see, so you're not getting distracted by going through small towns or places to get stamps, all that kind of stuff. So there are some parts that are shady, but I would not do this in the middle of summer during the middle of the day, or I would try to avoid it because yeah, there's a few parts which are really exposed. It is actually a really nice path if you had a bike. I'm not sure if that's something you can organize to like hire a bike in Camino to take to Valença, but it would be a really nice ride along here, along the river. I've seen a couple of other pilgrims, a young Austrian girl and then a lady from Colombia too. So there's a couple of other people on this route with us today, which is nice. Always nice to have other pilgrims around.
Well, on our second mini break after doing nearly another 5k, and yeah, we've done what, close to 25k now? Going to be our longest day today probably, and doing okay, but I've had to listen to podcasts just to keep my mind occupied because it's that point now where it's like, yeah, let's find an albergue quick or cry. Yeah. But I think we're going to TUI, aren't we?
Try to.
They're making me go further. Yeah, that was a nice little stop. Really nice guy who runs that place. It looks like when the Camino is busier, that's probably going to be like a place where a lot of pilgrims go. Loads of photos everywhere of all the different pilgrims from all over the world that go there. But for now, I've got 4 kilometers to go to reach TUI, if my little legs will go. And this is the biggest day we've done, and we will no longer do big days.
We just come through a fortress and now found ourselves in a village, Valença. Really cool entrance into Valença. That was a little surprise. I had no idea that Valença was like that, like a little market fortress town. I guess it kind of has to be like that because of how close they are to Spain. But yeah, lovely little town. Quite a few like shops with loads of stuff to buy. We don't need any extra weight, so we're not interested in purchasing anything. We are finally crossing the river Minya, which we've been walking alongside all day. And we are going from Portugal into Spain. Really cool bridge. There's cars on the inside and it's got a railway on the top and then pedestrians on both sides. Cool place. All right, sweet. Nearly at the end of our day. Yes. Bienvenida en España. Very excited to put my bag down. I think the girls are quite tired. I can say that we've done a very big day, over 30 kilometers, so we should be proud of ourselves. It's a good effort. Finishing on a hill. Woo!
We're way to end the day.
Well, we're actually going up into the fortress of JcE. I didn't realise that, but that's where our accommodation is. We've booked or reserved a place in an albergue in the old fortress. On top of a hill, obviously, which means we have a climb, and my knee has decided that's it for the day. Yeah.
31k, our longest day ever, and we've been rewarded. I said to Corey, there's no prize for doing that many kilometres, but there is. There's a really, really nice hostel, a really nice albergue here in JcE. It's really lovely. We pretty much have this room to ourselves. We paid €15 each, and it's probably the nicest place we've stayed at on the Camino. Well, in the hostel style, rather than like the homely style, more of a hostel style. This is really, really nice.
We just calculated it as day
Why was that so hard?
7. I think we're losing our minds a little bit, but it's day 7. We've just had a beautiful breakfast at the Ideas Peregrinas albergue, and we have this sunrise on a partially cloudy day, and we're not doing a massive day today, so we're quite...
We are, it's 23.
Compared to yesterday, it's like
not an easy day.
9 kilometers less, so we should be good. But yeah, nice start to the day.
JcE is a beautiful town, and one that we'd love to have stayed longer in, but as always, the Camino calls. We walked through the cobble streets feeling pretty chuffed with ourselves for achieving yesterday's goal of over 30k's. It was our biggest day yet, and it meant that we could take it easier over the next few days as we were ahead of schedule. It was also our first day walking in Spain, which was exciting. It felt like we were making headway towards Santiago de Compostela, and as JcE is a starting point for some pilgrims, we also noticed that there were more of us on the path.
Well, it's very busy on the Camino this morning. We did think that it was going to be like this when we got onto the main route, the central route of the Portuguese Camino, and look, we have a lot of other pilgrims, which is nice. Seven kilometers done, and we're going to a cafe.
Left a whole bowl of nuts and snacks on that table.
Vamos?
Vamos. Well, no, not vamos. We seem to have 2 routes here, so you can carry on going through this beautiful woodland, which is actually this one. And this main yellow one is all industrial, so I think we're going to stay in the woodland. I think it's much nicer, but I think they're trying to change it to make the industrial the main route, but we don't like that, do we? No.
Well, I think we made the right decision. This alternative route is very nice. Lots of little waterways to walk by, going through little areas of residential, tiny little villages. And it's very beautiful, very peaceful. But yeah, I think being on the industrial side, which is more direct, wouldn't be very nice. I imagine there'll be a lot of trucks, a lot of traffic right next to you, and it's nearly 5 kilometers, so I don't think that would be nicer than this.
It seemed that walking the extra kilometres yesterday caught up with me, and both myself and Christina were in a lot of pain. My feet were aching and there were blisters everywhere. We still had a little while to go, and to help, Corey offered to carry my backpack so I could walk without any weight for a while. It definitely helped, though I felt sorry for Corey.
Very interesting. The solution that we have come up with? Well, we have to get going somehow.
Very sore feet, so I think we're going to stop at the next city instead. We're going to stop 6 kilometers earlier than we planned this morning because I think we're all a bit tired and my feeties need a good rest, and then we'll do a little bit extra tomorrow. Tomorrow wasn't going to be a big day, so just add on those 6.
How's your back?
My back is very free. I feel very light.
I thought you were going to say I feel very guilty. No?
A little bit, but I keep asking him if it's okay, and he says yes, he likes it.
Our little
It smells of sewage quite bad.
there's a smell as well, just in the last maybe 5-10 minutes, a smell of sewage.
Yeah, it's not the nicest walk today.
But we're here,
Second half.
and we're about 600 meters from our albergue.
Woo!
Yo! We've made it to Rinson del Pellegrino, and this city feels depressed, to be honest. I guess it's an industrial city, everyone's working, there's some smells in the air. It's not the most beautiful city on the Camino, but let's see what we have to find.
This is like the time we should be finishing normally. We have checked into the albergue and we're going to spend the rest of the day just relaxing. We're all a bit tired. We're going to have some food, put a wash on, and then just spend the rest of the day horizontal.
Stopping earlier than planned the previous night was the right decision. We all felt slightly more rested and ready to move on. However, we were 6 kilometers behind schedule, and that meant we had to add it on to today's walk, so we left the city fairly fast, though with some hurdles. But soon enough we were back into the rhythm of walking and aching to get back into nature. Plus, we were pretty excited because we were going to pass the 100-kilometer marker, a milestone on the Camino.
We should be coming up to the 100-kilometer milestone soon. 100 k's to go in 220 meters. I hope it's actually quite an exciting part. Maybe they didn't even put anything there.
A little bit disappointing.
There's no exciting celebratory mark.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Enjoy.
We were in a podcast. We were just interviewed by some school children. They were waiting at the entrance of the school and I saw them looking and smiling. I was like, oh. But yeah, they asked us questions about walking the Camino. It was really sweet. I guess for a school project.
Yeah.
Potatoes.
Patatas!
On a hill. We're actually halfway up this hill climb we have today and it's been pretty easy. On a normal day this wouldn't really be an issue, but I think we were like, oh no, we have to incline just because we have tired lally legs. But we're over halfway and there's supposed to be a restaurant on top. We haven't really gone far from since the last cafe, but maybe we can just sit up top and enjoy the view if there is one. At the top!
I think this is it.
Woohoo! That wasn't so bad, was it really?
No.
It looked very dramatic on the map. The gradient map made it look like we're going up Everest. You probably should have just read that, it was not very many meters. We're reined in. Reined in.
Luckily we have a shelter, but yes, the rain has started to come down just as we've reached the top of the hill. We have this nice little park with a chapel in it, but we are going to sit tight and wait for this rain, hopefully, to pass. Well, the rain has stopped and we are walking again. We have a little bit of sunshine now and actually a little bit of blue sky. Maybe we did need that rain just to clear out the clouds a little bit. Yeah, let's continue. Andiamo. Well, we've come out of the forest and we've made it to this very steep descent, this road, which leads to Redondela and an inlet. The ocean is there. A lot of different strategies for going down the hill. I like the backwards way. You're using your Achilles, your spring in the back of your foot to take the bounce so you're not smashing your knees. Some people like to do zigzags and some people just like to inchworm down. Probably the best way is on a bicycle. We have a small problem. The albergue that we were going to is not open yet. I think they open tomorrow on the 1st of April and we're hoping that's not a joke. But yeah, 31st of March today, so I think a lot of places are still closed. I would have thought on the main route most albergues would be open, but obviously not. So we're going to try another one and we'll see how we go. well up into the shops, got some groceries, and now Charlotte is cooking and we're going to end our day here. Well, day 9, is it? Day 9. It was bound to happen eventually. We have rain. It's been raining all night and it looks like it's just going to be steady all day. Obviously we are very well prepared for this. So we have our raincoats on, everyone is waterproof. You look like a turtle. And yeah, we are just going to go for a 20-kilometer walk in the rain. Let's go.
Rain seems to get a little bit heavier, and I don't mind the rain, but I mind that I'm hot and I can't strip because I'm just going to get wet, and then when we stop I'm going to be cold. But I'm really hot and sweaty and a bit humid, but I need my waterproofs on because the rain's a little bit too heavy. And I really regret not going back for my poles. I left them. Stupid girl. I should have gone and got them because they're just having all these hills. But this is now, yeah, in the woods. Very lovely.
We're crossing the bridge at Porto de Santiago, and it's a very, very unique landmark with a nice beach on one side. Unfortunately, we have some inclement weather. This is very typical Galician weather, I think.
It's constant drizzle all day, isn't it? It looks nice to be on this water though. They're doing kayaking and the water's so flat, it looks lovely. Yeah, pretty happy. It's nice to be in nature, just hearing the sound of the birds and the airplanes. But it's nice to be on this nature because a lot of it is, you know, you're walking through towns, industrial areas, but this is really lovely. It's like a magical forest. Maybe the sunglasses will have to come out.
Yeah, a nice little stop in the middle of the forest.
We're finding more of these little pilgrim rest stops now. We're getting closer to the end.
Yeah, and now we're on the main trail.
Route, yeah.
Weather is always unpredictable, but it's wise to expect some wet days, and when they do occur, it's best to just embrace it. After all, this adventure isn't meant to be a walk in the park. You're expected to face challenges and difficulties, and as long as you're still able to put one foot in front of the other, a bit of rain isn't going to change that.
And this is where we're staying for tonight. Our albergue is very close. We were just walking there. We actually had to reserve this one because the first choice that looked really nice, gutted we can't stay, was fully booked, which is surprising, but it did look really cozy, the beds on the internet, so I guess it was snatched up quickly. But yeah, these private ones, I guess you have to reserve if you like the look of them. But hopefully this one's nice.
Well, we changed our mind. We changed our mind about where we're going to stay because this place here is not for pilgrims only. There are some private albergues and they are like hostels as well. So you can have tourists, students, workers, kind of anyone there. And we, I don't know, felt that we were in the wrong place. So we're going to look for something else. Let's see what we find.
Fortunately, we managed to find beds at a pilgrim-only accommodation further in town, where we felt much more comfortable and at home.
So yes, it is day 10. We are leaving Pontevedra now. We actually stayed in one of the earlier albergues as you come into town, and as we're walking through this morning, we can recommend the old town. It's much nicer at this end of town. So if you can get some accommodation up here in an albergue or maybe in a pension, that would be our recommendation. But it is very chilly this morning. We have 5 degrees. Blue skies ahead. We shouldn't get any more rain today, which is great. We've packed our lunch because it is Sunday, so Charlotte and I both have filled baguettes sticking out of our bags and we are on a mission to do 21.2 kilometers today. Let's get to it. Andiamo. Bom dia. just don't want this one to end. It's nice. We've made good friends, we've had a lot of really good conversations. Just really, really enjoying the walk. We're about 60 kilometers away from Santiago now, so it is coming to a close, unfortunately. But that will make all the celebrations in Santiago de Compostela all the more vibrant and colourful and emotional, probably. We're going a bit rogue now, we're going off-road, off the path, because across the valley we could see a cafe, tapas bar. Charlotte needs to use the toilet and we could really use a coffee, so we're going on a mission through someone's farm, across a river and up the other side, because today is Sunday and a lot of places are closed, which is why we stocked up on food today, or yesterday, from the supermarket.
Maybe it was because we knew our journey was almost over, but without realising we were slowing down on our walks, saying hello to friendly locals and enjoying every chance we had to rest, or to simply just soak in the moment. At least that was our excuse every time we passed a cafe.
Well, we've only made it 1 kilometre. Charlotte got tricked by the sign outside of this little wine and tapas restaurant. The arrow was pointing into the driveway, so Charlotte followed it in, and now we're here.
Whoopie. We'll have a little break, just a short one.
Well, today we have taken it slow like you've seen, and now we're just going to finish the last few kilometers in the afternoon. But we're missing our friend Christina. She messaged saying, I think you're on the wrong path. But we saw the arrows, I think she was on the wrong path. So now we're just going to slow down and hopefully she's going to catch us up. But we have probably about 5-6 k's to go, and it's going to be like, you know, it's gone 3 in now. A little bit late for the day, but we kind of thought it's Sunday, we can go slow. We have an albergue, we've got reservations. Let's just enjoy it.
Well, look, Santiago de Compostela, 40 kilometers by road, but we have about 56 kilometers by the path that we're going, by the Camino. We are about 6 kilometers away from Camino Trails, and it's been a really nice walk. It's been lovely. Just enjoying walking on pretty much flat farmland. I think I can see Camino Trails in front of me. And I've got very good news. It's downhill. Yeah, maybe just over 1 kilometer to go, and we're there. We've actually reserved a place in an albergue, just because we're getting a little bit busier now, closer to Santiago de Compostela. We just wanted to make sure that we had good options because of our experience the other day with 3 albergues closed. If you're in peak season, probably recommend booking ahead. But this one looks alright, so let's go check it out. We've come to the wrong albergue, apparently, so we're going back the way we came.
Where should we go?
Yes, I think this is a very nice one. We have cozy beds. Ooh.
Well, as you can see, we have had a shower, freshened up, and now me and Corey have just popped out for dinner. Just a 2-minute walk from our albergue is this lovely restaurant by the riverside. It's really nice in the afternoon sun. We've just ordered a few dishes to share, and this is a fantastic way to end the day on the Camino. Obviously, because we're so close to the end of the Camino, a lot of the towns nearby obviously really kind of use that for tourism, and this restaurant has a really cool place map. It is all of the local routes in Spain to the Camino. Very cool. You can recognise some places that I went to on Camino Frances. And I am just looking for where we are now. Here we are. That's the race.
Day 11. One more night in an albergue, and then we're in Santiago. This morning we said goodbye to the albergue in Camino Trails. Yeah, it was so nice there, it was really nice. Maria, the hospitalero, was very friendly. She made me a nice coffee this morning and she told us that today is going to be flat. It's not flat. Maybe for her, I think she's done a few Caminos. But yeah, today we've got quite a few opportunities to stop. There's a lot of towns at regular intervals. I think every like 4 or 5 Ks at least. We should be able to find spots for little breaks.
We were pretty excited about it being our second to last day. Instead of feeling like the days were blending into one, it felt like we were at a pivotal moment on our journey. Our end goal was in sight, and with it, bittersweet emotions.
We're fallen into a cafe, the first one.
First one of the day.
Let's see what we have on offer. Did we order too much?
Pan, too much pan.
No.
We must be getting close. A lot of people, a lot of pilgrims. Nice. The last 100 kilometers gets busy. I know for some people the groups can be a little bit overwhelming. I can see why. Just with such a large number of people and they're all talking, it's kind of taking away from the serenity, the quietness of just walking by yourself or with a couple of people. But if you do find yourself in a situation where there's a lot of people, you can always just take a little stop like I've just done, let them pass, and then you can move on. Now I'm all alone. But yes, the big groups can be slow, so it's not long before you catch them again. It's nice that people actually have the chance to do this walk, even if it is with a big group, then everything's organised and that is definitely an option if you're a little bit hesitant, a little bit anxious about going on your own.
Lunchtime. I was like, Corey will definitely stop here because this is a place he said we're going to go to for lunch. So I'm really glad that I shouted you because it looked like he was going to walk straight past. Very nice little village and it looks like a lovely cafe.
Well, we're less than 3 kilometers to Padron, and there you can pick up a special Padronia certificate. You have to go to the cathedral and get a stamp, and then they'll direct you to where you need to go to pick up the certificate. I'm not sure if we're going to do that, but if it's on the way, we might. And then after that, I think we have maybe another 10 Ks or so, which will knock off a bit for tomorrow. Taking a slight detour from the path to get some compression bandage for Charlotte's ankle. Her Achilles heel is giving her a bit of grief. And I know it's only one day, but she did a Google doctor and she doesn't want her ankle to explode. So we're just going off the path briefly to a main road.
Hopefully it helps.
We're passing through Padron. It seems absolutely dead. It is 2:30. There's like a carnival being set up, arranged. It's all closed, but all the shops seem to be closed as well. So we're not going to stop here. The vibes are off. We're on the final push of the day now to the albergue we've chosen, about 7 kilometers. I'm glad we didn't stay in Padron because that town did not inspire us. A very busy road. Ready? After the red car.
I can't run.
Well, we are here. The rooms are quite nice. Looks like we have a nice outdoor area too. Oh my god, with a pool. Look at this. Woo, fantastico. Well, let's enjoy our last night on the Camino.
This is a very nice place to spend our last day on the Camino. It's like a home turned into an albergue. Probably about, what, like 10 or so? 12 beds, I think.
12 beds.
And there's like a downstairs like double room. There's a pool here. I think in summertime this place would be epic because there's a pool, but Corey wants to go in anyway.
Oh, it's cold. That feels really good on the legs.
Yeah?
Day 12, and the final day of the Camino, and we have just a little over 17 kilometers to Santiago. It's going to be a nice easy one today. Got good weather, we should have some bright sunshine. It's going to get to a high of 22 degrees. Yesterday we registered for our Compostela. You do that online before you get to the Pilgrims office, because I think in the past the lines have been really silly and now with the registration you can just walk up, enter your code that you get from your registration and they'll print off your certificate straight away. But yeah, we are just hobbling our way together to Santiago de Compostela.
A lot of our time walking was spent reflecting on the past 11 days, the journey we had been on, the friends we had made, and the moments that we had shared. Waking up and walking had become our new normal, and it was strange to think that soon it would be all over.
So yes, it is the last day of the Camino for us, and while it feels a little bit celebratory, we still have to walk. We've still got work to do until we get to Santiago, but we're quite excited because the weather's supposed to be really nice today, and when we get to the cathedral it's just going to be glorious to lay in the square, in the plaza, and lay in the sunshine and just embrace. It's so nice to just sit there and watch all the other pilgrims arriving, reuniting with pilgrims they've met on the way, or maybe someone they started the Camino with and they separated. Kind of like a really magical place to just sit and watch people. There's a lot of emotions as well, so it's lovely. Kind of like going to the airport, sitting at the arrival section. You doing alright, Shez?
I'm doing okay,
That's good.
but I am very excited to reach Santiago de Compostela today. I'm excited to take my walking boots off, I'm excited to get my certificate, get a picture outside the cathedral, and find somewhere to have a really good meal.
And get your suitcase.
Oh, we need to go and pick up our suitcase too, so we can wear something slightly different than the outfit we've been wearing for 12 days straight.
Yeah. One last stop before we enter the city of Santiago de Compostela and O Miradoira, a little place called O Camino. Let's check it out. Right, looking back at the last 12 days, what's been your most favourite part about the Camino Coast Portuguese?
Walking along the coast by the ocean. That's
Yeah.
my favourite part.
That was a highlight, I think.
Yes.
The coastal path, as opposed to what we've had before, the Camino Frances, which is very much inland, very picturesque.
No, I wouldn't say so. Even though we love walking by the ocean, there was a lot of trash on the beaches and in the sea, so we couldn't really go in the ocean, which I really thought that we'd be doing, like swims in there.
We're properly in the city now, making our way. We've got 2 kilometers to go. Very excited, a little bit exhausted. Charlotte is still carrying her injury, so she is hobbling her way towards the cathedral. And the temperature's picking up, it's nice. We're nearly there, nearly there.
Where is it? This is like taking forever. Are we there yet?
Are you deceased yet?
Oh, honestly, I feel like I could crawl to the cathedral now.
Slight deviation from the road that we were on, and now we're in a lovely park. 260 kilometers later, give or take.
Give or take. Give.
Give. I actually find it impossible to find the yellow arrows in the city. It's like, I don't know, there's too much signage, there's too many distractions.
I think you just look for the cathedral.
Yeah, the only thing that's really saving us here is the fact that we have maps on our phone.
Oh my god. Touching distance, touching distance. I'm hobbling in. Hobbling. Relieved.
That is glorious. We are here. We made it. The atmosphere here is relieving. I can sense it amongst everyone. How do you feel?
I just want to get a photo of you.
Okay, let's take a selfie. Right, we are off to get our Compostela now. It's just down around the corner from the cathedral. Should be pretty simple, we've registered already.
We have a certificate, so you get the Latin one for free, so they put your name in Latin, and that is like your proof that you have walked. But then if you pay €3, was it? You get the distance one. Yes, so then if you pay €3, then you get your other one, which is really nice. It's got like your name and your distance, and obviously we just get them all. And then also if you pay €2, they give you this, a little keepsake to make sure your certificates are not damaged on your travels, €2. So we got one to share.
This is the day after we finished the Camino, and it feels real now. It takes a little time for me to process. Some people, they have this like emotional response when they get to the square, or sometimes when they get their Compostela. But for me, it's like I need time to process this huge undertaking. Yeah, really just kind of put everything into place in my mind, what we've just done. One of the nicest things you can do here in Santiago de Compostela is to just go and sit in a cafe or sit in the square, Plaza de Obradoiro, and just watch all the pilgrims coming in from all different directions. It's really, really nice to just see the excited faces, give them a little round of applause as they come in. You're kind of reliving your entrance into the square through other people. So something to liken it to is sitting in the arrivals hall at the airport for family reunions and stuff. It's just one of those things you know you can do and just get really nice, warm, fuzzy feelings. But yeah, Santiago is full of that. It's a city just full of really positive, warm emotions, and you can feel it as you're walking around. Just this morning I've been wandering, just doing some little errands before we leave, and yeah, it just feels so lovely here. Enjoy when you get to Santiago de Compostela. Take some time to soak it all up, all the emotions, and I guess there's nothing more to say but buen camino.
And just like that, it was all over. 12 continuous days of walking through 2 countries and a vast array of landscapes. Memories were made and friendships were formed. Thank you so much for watching our way.